Hi, imagine being able to sell thousands of books without having an email list and without having to market your book. That is what we're going to cover today. So John Ty here, author of Crush It with Kindle. I'm going to be with you for about an hour. This is the first time I've tried to do a webinar format on StreamYard, going live to Facebook and to YouTube at the same time. So it's going to be a little bit of a learning experience for me. I'm going to try and share my screen with you now. Sorry, I've got two screens going here. For some reason, it's not letting me do that. Share screen. That would be why. Aha, there we go. Right. So, yes, here we go. So this is going to be the 3 secrets to selling thousands of books and becoming a best-selling author without having an email list and without having to market your book. And if you've got questions, please type them into chat. What I'll do the presentation first, and then I will come back at the end and pick up all your questions. So I'm not ignoring them. I've just got a lot of content to get through. So we'll do the content first and then come back to the questions. And here we go. So I want to start with a true story, and this is a true story about a frustrated author. You won't be surprised to hear this is about me. It's how I went from frustrated and unpublished author to multiple best-selling author, and goes all the way back to 1998, which is a long time ago now, and that was when I wrote my first book. It was a thriller, and I couldn't get an agent. This was back in the day when you had that double gatekeeper system. You needed to get an agent first before you had any chance of getting in front of a publisher, but the publisher had to okay it as well, so you had a double system there. In 2004, I had another go. I wrote a book on diet and weight loss, which is something I've been teaching for several years at that point. And again, same thing, I couldn't get an agent. The feedback was the book is good, but we need a celebrity to endorse it. And my thinking was that at the time, even if I could have found a celebrity to endorse it, I didn't want to, because it was my book, it was my baby. There was years of work that gone into that, into building up the knowledge in the first place and then writing the book. And the rationale from the agent's point of view makes perfect sense, because as they said, it's a crowded marketplace and we need somebody to kind of front that. The great news today is you can bypass all of that. Anyway, moving on, not just a frustrated author, but by 2009, I became an entrepreneur. Again, seems like a long time ago now. I did a lot of things right. I did a lot of things wrong. And this led to me becoming a frustrated author with a failing business. So 4 years into my first business, which was an online real estate company, I had to pull the plug on that business. I lost a big part of what was my identity, because I put 4 years of days, evenings, weekends, life savings, everything into that. As I say, spent my life savings and gone into debt to make it happen, and I had to pull the plug on it. And it was KDP, or Kindle Direct Publishing, that transformed my life and business. That was right around the time that I was making the decision to pull the plug on the business. That's when I discovered KDP. If you're not familiar with KDP, that is the name of the platform that Amazon's created that allows us to publish our books and have them on sale worldwide in less than 24 hours. So it's transformed my life and business, and it's done that for thousands of other authors as well. And this is where I am today. I've got multiple best-selling books. All of them are earning passive income. And there's a key thing here, building my author platform, so building my email list, but also getting people onto social and stuff like that as well. So what has this given me? Well, it's given me a 6-figure a year, largely passive income business, which is fantastic. More free time, if I want it, than I've ever had in my life. So tremendous flexibility in terms of how I spend my time. Freedom over when and where I work. Basically, I need an internet connection and a laptop or a phone. Sometimes I don't even need an internet connection. I just need my notepad and a pen. And I get to do something I love. So I get to write, I get to teach, and I get to do the online marketing stuff for the books and the courses as well. So 3 things that I love there. And I get to help others and make a difference. So I get to help other authors get their message out there too. So stuff that for me personally is really worthwhile. Okay, so this is, I put this little quote in here from Marcy Sharma because it pertains specifically to Kindle publishing, so the whole KDP platform. Marcy Sharma, if you probably know her, but if you don't, she's a New York Times best-selling author of Happy for No Reason and Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul and other books. And she sold over 15 million books sort of through traditional publishing. And Marcy said, promoting books on Kindle creates a different set of challenges to those you face when marketing a physical book. John guides you expertly through these challenges and makes the process clear and easy to understand. So a really nice endorsement there from Marcy on the Kindle publishing side. So after being an entrepreneur for 11 plus years and spending over 7 years in Kindle publishing, I discovered how to do what I'm going to share with you today the hard way. So you get to fast track the entire process and do it the easy way, which is great. So here we are, the 3 secrets. Secret number 1 is how to drive hundreds of customers to your book's Amazon page without spending a cent on advertising. Secret number 2 is the simple change which costs nothing that's proven to boost book sales by as much as 833%. And then secret number 3 is how to more than triple your book sales without having to do any marketing whatsoever. So here's the key thing, all of them are free. So if you don't have an email list, you don't have an advertising budget, you don't want to do the marketing stuff, not a problem, they're all free. And by the way, email list is great. You should definitely be building that, but if you're starting out, you don't have an email list, so how do you get going with, it's kind of chicken and egg. And then if you do have an email list, you should be doing these as well on top of that. So secret number 1, how to drive hundreds of customers to your book's Amazon page without spending a cent on advertising. Now the myth is that to get lots of traffic to your book's page, and talking about your book's Amazon page here, you must pay to advertise and probably lose money or have a big email list and be able to send people there via email. Oops, right. And I'm just going to take a little tangent here and talk about the number of Kindle book sales. Obviously, we don't have exact numbers because Amazon just will not publish them, but these are the best numbers I can get, the most recent numbers. And we're talking about 1 million, I know this is a very precise figure, but 1,420,619 Kindle books a day as a ballpark. That works out at 59,192 per hour or 986 per minute. Now, these figures are a few months old, and I know that we're talking about over 1,000 Kindle book sales every single minute today. So just got to tap into that and get a few of those sales. So secret number 1, it's very simple, but almost no one fully understands just how important it is. People talk about it, people know it's important, but I don't think many people realize just quite how critical it is. So as a result, it's not given enough emphasis. Here's the thing, it's quick and easy to do, and it's completely free. So the secret is knowing how to choose the right keywords for your book. And I'll give you some really clear, real-world examples here. And the way I've set up this table for you, keyword 1, keyword 2. So if you look across, each of these sets of keywords are kind of reading left to right, are in pairs. So author, writer, very similar. Publish, publishing, very similar. Freelance writer, freelance writing, and so on, all the way down the list. The idea is that you've got keywords which on the face of it you think, well, they would probably get similar results, right? If they basically mean the same thing. The keyword number 1 list, we've got 37,025 searches for that on Amazon, and that's over a 3-month period. Now, over the exact same 3-month period, have a look at the right-hand column and see how many searches we've got for those virtually identical keywords. 167,593. Author, writer, they mean the same thing, but you've got more than 4 times as many searches, 111,000 searches for writer. You can go all the way down the list. I won't read them all out for you because you can see them there. But I mean, look, publishing guidelines and publishing guide, you've got 10 times as many searches for publishing guide. This is really critical because you put the wrong keywords in, and I'll talk about where you can put keywords. Far fewer people will find your book. I mean, how do people find your book? Keyword search, categories to a lesser extent probably, and then showing up in the also bought sections of other books. Now, again, you don't show up in the also bought sections until you start making some sales. So it's, again, chicken and egg. Keywords is one of the most important things to get those initial sales in the first place, but also long-term organic sales. So if I go to the next slide, what is a keyword worth? Well, those 7 keywords on the left-hand column got an average of 5,289 searches. Again, this is over a 3-month period. The keywords in the right-hand column, which are virtually identical, got 23,941. So that's a 452% increase just by looking at the numbers and tweaking the keywords. Very small changes, but a huge 4.5 times as many people potentially finding that book. If you prefer a visual representation, we've got this here, the little pie chart. So keyword 1, that's the segment that the first set of keywords get, and you can see massively outweighed by the other one. So one more I want to share with you on keywords, life hacks and time hacks. So I've been working on a book on productivity, and I thought, well, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there we go. I'll go straight to the numbers. So life hacks is a popular search term, but I thought, well, maybe time hacks, because it's about productivity, time management, that kind of thing. I thought, well, maybe time hacks would be a good one. Now, if I'd have just used that, you can see that, again, on Amazon over 3 months, actually, I think this is from Google, correct myself, the monthly searches for life hacks are 135,000 searches per month. For time hacks, which in my mind sounded like a good idea, 70 a month. So to put that in perspective, there are 1,928 more searches every single month for life hacks than time hacks. So again, if I'd have used time hacks as a keyword, it would have been almost completely wasted. Virtually no one would ever have found that book using that keyword search, whereas life hacks, potentially more than 100,000 people a month searching for that term. So hopefully that kind of drives home just how critical keywords are. So for life hacks and time hacks, again, that's the difference between, I mean, it's crazy numbers, 4,500 searches a day for life hacks versus 2.3 searches per day for time hacks. Now you get multiple keyword opportunities. So obviously the title of your book is potentially somewhere for keywords. Caveat here, never sacrifice a good title in order to get keywords in. If you've got a great title, by which I mean one that's sort of catchy, memorable, short, speaks to your audience directly, don't sabotage it just to fit keywords in, because you can put those in your subtitle, which is next bullet. So your title, maybe, your subtitle, definitely you can put keywords in there. Your description, Amazon will pick up words from your book description, and so you can include keywords in there. Make sure it sort of reads well and it's organic. But and then 7 private bonus keywords. Okay, and the reason that, going back to that table I showed you a couple of minutes ago, the reason I chose 7 sets of keywords is because Amazon gives you what I call bonus keywords. These are 7 keywords which you type into the sort of back end dashboard when you publish your book. So the public don't see these, but this is to help Amazon put your book in front of the right people. Amazon's very clear that you shouldn't duplicate the keywords that are in your title and subtitle, because it already gets those, it already picks those up. So hence they are pure bonus keywords. And you can see there, 452% boost in potential discovery. Doesn't mean every time somebody types in that keyword, your book's going to come to the top, but it certainly isn't if you pick the wrong keywords. So huge boost there. Right, secret number 2, the simple change which costs nothing that's proven to boost book sales by as much as 83%. Okay, now there's always a myth attached to these things, and the myth here is that before you can start making worthwhile sales, you need to do a major book promotion. Now, again, I love book launches, they're fantastic, but if you haven't got the time or the bandwidth or the budget to do a book promotion, this is what you do instead. And of course, this is what you do afterwards for long-term organic sales. Let me skip through this slide fast, because this is the same slide I showed you before, secret 1. And again, I just want to emphasize that these 3 secrets I'm sharing with you today, they are critical, but they are almost never given enough emphasis. And again, all of them are quick and easy to do, and all of them are completely free. And this is the secret. This secret, excuse me, is the power of a great title to sell books. And again, I've got some real-world concrete examples here, and they come to us courtesy of this man, Emmanuel Haldeman Julius. Now, you may or may not have heard of him. Going back to the sort of 20s and 30s, he was famous at the time for selling what became known as the little blue books, and I'll show you a picture of them. Eventually, they all ended up having sort of blue covers, hence the name little blue books. But going back to this slide, he didn't have the luxury of online marketing of Amazon and Facebook and YouTube like we do today. So he had to do, you know, real old school direct response marketing through newspapers and magazines. So he had very limited, you can see on the bottom half of that page there, he's got very limited sort of real estate to advertise the books. So for him, it was critically important that he picked titles that led to sales, because there's no room there for descriptions. People are going purely on the title of the books. So what he would do, he had a sort of rule where if he put a book on sale, he'd track the sales over the course of a year, and if it didn't sell, I think it was 10,000 copies over the course of a year, he would change the title. Now, here's the key thing: the title was the only thing that changed. The contents of the book, and most of the books were sort of classic stories that were out of copyright. So the binding, the cover, the story itself, the method of sale, the reader, the people he was targeting through newspapers and magazines, all of that stayed exactly the same. The price stayed the same. The only thing that changed was the title. So I've got 6 here. I'll show you the first 3. We'll see, again, going from left to right. Gautier's Fleece of Gold sold 6,000 copies. He changed the title to The Quest for a Blonde Mistress, so that's sort of a kind of tantalizing, intriguing, titillating title there. 6,000 sales up to 50,000 for the following year. Exactly the same book at exactly the same price. That title, that's an 833% boost. So that's, again, that's the example that I gave in the title slide of an 833% boost in sales just by changing the title. The tallow ball, I have no idea what that might mean. Change that to a French prostitute sacrifice, and again, 15,000 jumped up to 54,700 sales. The King Enjoys Himself becomes The Lustful King Enjoys Himself, 8,000 to 38,000 sales. Now, those titles all have something in, or the new titles all have something in common, which is something sort of titillating about them. One's a mistress, one's a prostitute, one's the lustful king. So just to prove it doesn't have to be something like that, here's 3 different examples. You've probably heard of this one, The Mystery of the Iron Mask, or which became The Mystery of the Man in the Iron Mask. Jumped from 11,000 sales up to 30,000. The Art of Controversy wasn't selling at all. Changed that to How to Argue Logically, which is something that, you know, today and all the way back into the sort of 20s and 30s, people like the idea of being able to do that. Jumped up to 30,000 sales. Pen, Pencil and Poison. Nice alliteration, but mediocre sales. 5,000 sales in a year. The Story of a Notorious Criminal, and it jumps more than triples to 15,800 sales. Now, if you look at The Mystery of the Man in the Iron Mask and The Story of a Notorious Criminal, you're introducing that element, that sort of human element. It's The Mystery of the Iron Mask. Okay, it hit that 10,000 threshold, but only just. But now it's about a man in an iron mask. Now, as soon as we introduce that human element, people are intrigued. They want to know more about it. A notorious criminal. I mean, notorious again. Why are they notorious? Just the use of the word story. Again, that people want to know what happens in the story. So just telling people it's a story helps. Notorious criminal. Again, you're sort of humanizing it and making it more intriguing. So if we put these together, the old titles, again, all of these were over the course of 12 months, 45,000 sales. Compared to the new titles, exactly the same books at the same price, 218,500 sales over a similar 12-month period to the same readership at the same price. So what's that worth? Well, the old titles were selling an average of 7,500 books a year. Just changing the title jumped up to 36,417. So again, not dissimilar to the figure we had in the last example, 485% increase in sales. And obviously these numbers are going to vary from book to book and keyword to keyword and title to title, but gives you a sense, 4 or 5 times increase in sales just by changing something simple. The whole thing about not judging a book by its cover, we'll see in a second, is unfortunately not true. You could have a brilliant book, but if people don't know it's brilliant and they don't engage with it in the first place, they're probably not going to buy it. unless it's by recommendation. But again, without sales, you're not going to get many recommendations. So it's, again, we're in that catch-22. So there we are. That's a visual representation of the same thing. So finally, on to secret number 3, which is how to more than triple your book sales without having to do any marketing whatsoever. So the myth here is that to keep making sales long-term, you must be continuously marketing your book. Now, nothing wrong with marketing. I'm not knocking that. I love marketing and it fascinates me. But as an author, you don't want to be having to go back and keep marketing your book all the time. You kind of want to be working on the next book. So the more we can do when we set things up to make sure that we get those long-term organic sales, and that's what this whole presentation is about, the less we have to worry about the marketing side, which is good. Okay, so secret 3, again, same slide as before. It's people know about it, but they don't give it enough emphasis. I see this over and over again, even though it's quick and easy to do, and again, completely free to make that change. So the secret is the power of a great cover to convert browsers into buyers. So a few tips about, I haven't got time to go into all of what makes a good cover, but I'll give you a few tips here. You want a cover that pops. So if you think about your experience when you're on Amazon browsing for a book, maybe you've done a keyword search and you get a load of suggestions up, or maybe you're looking at the bestseller list, so you're looking within the categories. There are loads and loads of books there. Even when you go to the page of a specific book, there's still lots of other suggestions. There are books that are being advertised, sponsored banner. There's books that are also bought that are similar topic area or similar niche genre. So, you know, potentially 50 or more thumbnails on a search page for Amazon. So your book has to stand out against all of that noise, bearing in mind that as we browse, we're browsing, skimming through really fast. So you want that cover that's going to really stand out on the page and draw the eye. You want it to be bright and bold. Okay, it's got to, if you don't grab the attention of your prospect, they can't click on it. They just can't. Okay. So the title, again, we talked about keywords. So hopefully you've crafted a great title. Title must be easy to read. So usually uppercase is best. Some, maybe romance, certain genres, you might have a cursive font. But normally uppercase is best because it's clear and easy to read. Remember, those thumbnails, they're tiny. You know, they're really small on the page. They're not, when you get the cover back from your designer and you look at the whole thing full screen and it looks fantastic, that isn't what people are seeing. People are seeing a really small version of that. So you want them absolutely critical that they can read your title when it's in a thumbnail form, because although Amazon puts the title, prints it next to the book, a lot of people don't look at that first. Typically they look at the covers first. That's what actually draws the eye across. Obviously a highly contrasting color, whatever upper or lowercase, whatever it's whether it's caps or cursive, you want a highly contrasting color to the background field, because otherwise they simply can't read it. They'll just merge together and you get no results at all. So those are a couple of tips, and let me just go back and give you another one, which isn't on the slide, and that is that you want to be bright, bold, stand out, catch the eye. But obviously it's got to, whatever you're writing, your cover has to fit with that niche or genre. So look and work with your designer, guide them to make sure that if it's a romance book, it fits with romance. If it's a how-to book, a self-help book, or a business book, or whatever it might be, that it fits. You know, that your readers have to be able to look at the book and instantly know that it's in their market, it's of interest to them. So make sure it fits with your niche or genre. Various ways you can test, excuse me, test your cover. Facebook ads cover test is great. You can run targeted traffic to a Facebook ad and see how many people click on that. If you do that, you know, and you'd probably spend, perhaps, let's say you've got 2 covers and you choose between 2. Probably need to spend $10 on each one, maybe a little bit more. All you're interested in is the relative click-through rate. How many people click on the ad? You keep the title the same. You keep the ad copy the same. The only thing that changes is the image of the book, so you can test that one variable. Facebook feedback. This is great, but again, bear in mind that this is not the same as, you know, this is not as good a test as how many people in your target market would actually buy the book. So if you are testing on Facebook, or getting feedback, excuse me, on Facebook, Ask friends and family, that's great, but if you can, try and ask people that are in your marketplace or within your sort of target market. So if that means setting up a page or a group, which is a good thing to do anyway if you want to build that author platform, or asking for help on a page or a group that you're a member of that is targeted to that audience, then that's the best way to do it. If you are using 99 Designs, which is now, it's quite expensive today. It used to be a lot more competitive. But if you do use 99 Designs, where you get multiple designers competing, basically, if you've never used it, you put your brief up, you get various designers putting in suggestions, and you can shortlist a handful of those and then pick a winner from that, and then the winner designs the cover for you, and they take the payment in full. But 99 Designs have got it set up so that you can actually run polls to social media, to Facebook. You can also send people an email link as well, so they can go to the page and they can vote. They can give a rating out of 5 stars and put comments underneath all the different designs. So that's actually a really good way of getting feedback as well. And again, always, if you have the opportunity to send the poll, the test, the feedback request to people who are in your target market, do it that way. And then you've also got pickfu.com, which is a really quick, easy way of getting a rapid response. Not super cheap, it's $50 for 50 responses. And then it goes up from there. That's assuming you've got 2 to pick from. If you've got more than 2 or you want more than 50 responses, it can get expensive. But it's useful, and one of the best things about Pickfu is that everybody that votes leaves a little comment, and you get all sorts of insights. It's kind of the wisdom of crowds sort of thing. There are all sorts of suggestions and tips and insights and things that you probably almost certainly wouldn't have picked up on all of those things, because there's no way you can have all the ideas that 50 people have had. And you get the feedback within minutes usually. So although it's $50, that can be quite useful. If you get a really lopsided result, that's probably a good guide. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it might be 27, 23, 24, 26, something like that. But even if you get a result which isn't clear, well, first of all, that tells you that both of the covers are probably solid. But the other thing it tells you is, say, that it's worth paying the $50 just to get the feedback on the covers, because you'll probably make some adjustments from that. So I'm going to show you a little case study of a cover. The original cover is the one on the left in grey. The new cover, or the winning design, if you like, is the one on the right. A couple of reasons I've picked this. One is because I have all the numbers for it, because I ran the tests. The second one is that even the winning cover on the right, the blue and yellow one, is by no means perfect, but it's still a great example of how you can, in this case, get a 338% boost. So almost 3.5 times as many people clicking on the blue cover as opposed to the grey one, even though the book is the same, the pricing is the same, and everything else. A bit like our little blue books, everything is the same except for the cover. And yeah, okay, so let me just go back. Yeah, so that's the equivalent in sales terms of 100 sales for the original cover in grey versus 338 sales for the blue version. So a couple of tips on why one of these covers is converting a lot better than the other. So the design, you can see it's the same designer for both covers, but the original cover, you can see it's got this sort of weird thing going on with the first word, which the title started as "You Will Never Work Again." So this is a book about outsourcing and systematizing your business and simplifying that whole process. The "you will" has been turned into a V, but if you don't know the title of the book and you don't know what the book's about, that's quite confusing. You've got to kind of look at it. Again, remember this is a thumbnail, so you're looking at a really small picture and try and work out what's going on there. So we got rid of that, just simplified the title to "Never Work Again." Second thing is you've got, although I mean, it's not unattractive, but it's grey on grey. So again, the contrast isn't there. As a thumbnail, it's really hard to read. Ditto the subtitle. Now, it doesn't matter if you can't read the subtitle when the book's a thumbnail. You're not really meant to. If you can, it's a bonus. But again, sometimes you don't want the subtitle to be too big, because it, fitting in with your niche or genre, often you can't read the subtitle until you, as a thumbnail. But it will still get picked up in the keywords will still get picked up, and then if people click on the thumbnail to find out more about the book, they'll be able to read the subtitle then. So it'll sort of, again, it's a linear process. You're sort of hooking people through it at all these different stages in the process. So we've got a slightly confusing title. We've got a lack of contrast, which means it's hard to read as a thumbnail. And then the other thing that's a key thing is that open road. So the idea, obviously, is simplifying your business, outsourcing things. It's about creating freedom and creating lifestyle. So the open road is a perfectly good metaphor for that, but it doesn't play as well with the target audience. There's a couple lying back in deck chairs on a tropical beach, beautiful blue sky, golden white sands. And so just changing the image had a big impact. It also meant that we could change the title wording from sort of that light grey to a bright yellow. So now we get that real contrast between the blue and the yellow. So that title, when you're looking at the book, both the cover and the title within the cover really pop off the page, and you'll see an example of that in a second. So let me put that into context in terms of royalties. What's the cost? Well, the first year royalties for that book, after we tested the cover and after we made the change, so full 12 months, $11,950. So before, or if we hadn't made that change, excuse me, based on the fact that nearly 3.5 times as many people were clicking on the cover, the new cover, compared to the old one, the best case scenario is that with the old cover, it would have only made $3,525 in sales. So what we're talking about there, it's just by changing the cover, keeping everything else the same, a loss of $8,390 in just 1 year. And obviously this compounds, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, your book's still going to be selling and making royalties, and those numbers are only just going to get bigger and bigger. In terms of monthly royalties, we're looking at $993 per month versus $294 per month. So more than what's that? $700 a month, pretty much. And so well worth spending, a couple $100, getting a really good cover design, because you'll get that back many, many, many times over, and within a short space of time as well. Okay, so let's just recap on those 3 secrets. Secret number 1, how to drive hundreds of customers to your book's Amazon page without spending a cent on advertising. Secret number 2, the simple change which costs nothing has proven to boost book sales by as much as 833%. And then secret 3, how to more than triple your book sales without having to do any marketing whatsoever. So we put those 3 secrets together. I gave you the percentages as we were going through. And again, obviously these are not in any way fixed percentages. These are just the percentages for the examples that I've given you. But it's about giving you sort of a ballpark: 452%, 485%, and 338%. Now, here's the exciting thing: they are actually cumulative, and goes back to that process of, it's a linear process. People have to, 1, find your book in search; 2, they have to see it on the page. The cover has to sort of grab their attention; 3, the title has to appeal to them enough for them to want to know more, to be intrigued, to click on the thumbnail. Then they can start reading the description, looking at the subtitle, looking at the reviews, and all of those things. So these aren't the only 3 things. There are obviously other things, but it is a linear process. And so hence, if you multiply these together, we're talking about potentially, from sort of best case scenario down to worst case scenario, a 7,409% boost in sales with these examples. Now, that might sound crazy because we're talking about a 74-to-1 increase in sales, but actually it's not. And bear in mind, you're doing this, again, no launch, no email list, and no marketing. You launch your book, you have an email list, you do marketing to promote it on top of this. All of that is going to really be like rocket fuel for this. So just let me go back to that previous slide. So that's 74-to-1 increase. And at that point where the voice is starting to go. So that's 74-to-1 increase. I'm going to show you a case study which will give you an idea of how true that actually is. So I'm going to use the book Never Work Again. So we've already talked about how the title, how the cover was changed. Now this book is by Erlen Bakker, who's a friend of mine. Erlen wrote and published the book with the first cover before I even knew it existed, but it wasn't selling. And that's when he came to me and asked if we could make some changes. And we used all 3 of these secrets with this book to turn it around. So The context is that before I got involved and we made the changes and promoted the book, it had made 30 sales worldwide in its first full month. Now that includes friends and family, so I don't know what the true number was, less than 30%, but I'm going to be kind here and say it was 30. In the following 12 months after we've gone through and made the changes, 7,348 sales. So that's 20 times per month increase in sales. Again, probably more than that if you take out friends and family, but on top of that, we got just through, this is all just through Amazon, 20,821 downloads on top of the sales. So a total of 28,169 sales and downloads combined. So that's a 78 times per month increase. And as I say, it's actually more than that, but I'm just going to work with the figures that I've got. The royalties you've already seen were $11,915.06. Plus, on top of those royalties, Erlen was able to build a targeted email list of over 3,000 people. Obviously, they were clearly interested in what he was offering because they wouldn't have bought the book in the first place. Now, from that, he got 115 brand new coaching clients, paying anywhere from a few $100s up to, I think in 2 cases, we're talking about $10,000 for his top package. So not only did he make nearly $1,000 a month in royalties, but he actually built a 6-figure coaching business from scratch just on the back of that book launch. But obviously that wouldn't have happened if he hadn't made those changes. Here is an example, or a screenshot, excuse me, showing the books at #1 in entrepreneurship, #1 in teams, and if you look at the bottom right, #1 in bestseller in outsourcing. So it basically hit #1 in the paid charts for all 3 of Erlen's top target categories. And this is a great shot. I said I'd show you an example of how the book pops off the page with the new cover. And so you can see how it really stands out there. But also, not just the cover, but the title is easy to read, much easier than several of the other titles on there, which kind of fade away as thumbnails. You really struggle to read them. Now, something else that will happen if you get these things sort of lined up, apply these 3 secrets to your book, and then do a little to promote it. The book is #1 in business teams in the paid charts. The book is the #1 hot new release, and the book is the #1 top rated book as well. Now, this is great social proof. It looks like it's an endorsement from Amazon, which it sort of is, but really, ultimately, it's an endorsement from Amazon's book buyers, because they're the ones that bought enough copies of the book to put it #1. They're the one. Obviously, it's a hot new release. I think I forget, but I think it's within the first sort of 45 days of release that it'll show it as a hot new release. So it's the best-selling book in the last sort of 45 days, and it also gets really good customer reviews as well. So it shows up as a top-rated book as well. So that's what can happen for your book if you get a lot of sales in a short space of time. You get great rankings, great results, great ratings, and anybody coming to this page can't help but notice this book and be intrigued by the fact that it's showing up 3 times at the top of the page on Amazon. Chances are they're going to click on it. And this is a picture of Erlen, which I took from Erlen's Facebook feed with Erlen's permission, celebrating sales and downloads of 100,000 books. Now, 2 reasons I've got this in here. One, I think it's a really cool, fun picture. But also because that picture was taken 19 months after the book launched. So 19 months earlier, no one had seen or read the book. 100,000 people have had a copy of that book just 19 months later. So that gives you a sense of, if you get these things right, how quickly you can get your message out there, or sell a lot of copies of your book and build your back-end business if that's something that you're trying to do. So let me ask you a question. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to transition into an offer. So I've done the content part. I'm going to do Q&A at the end. So if you've got questions, please, I can see some questions coming in. So if you've got questions, type them into chat and I will answer them at the end of the presentation. I've done the content part. I'm going to share with you how you can go deeper on this sort of stuff if you want to. So I'm going to make an offer. So yeah, coming back to the slide, hopefully you can see, type a yes into the chat if you can see how these 3 secrets could transform your book sales. And obviously I've only picked 3. There are more than this, but I've tried to pick 3 which I think are the biggest needle movers. So if you do these things and other things, you can see how it massively transforms your book sales and your potential. And then anything you do in terms of marketing or promotion on top of that gets a much better result as well. Are you feeling a little overwhelmed because we covered so much? And obviously there's a lot of detail that I didn't have time to cover here. So if it feels a little bit like this, like you're drinking from a fire hose, then as I say, what I'm going to talk about now is how to implement, how I can help you implement what we just talked about. So is it okay if I spend a few minutes going over a special offer with a ton of bonuses? So I've thrown a load of bonuses in here that I've created to help you implement this. Yeah, I see lots of chat coming in, and I'll come back. And it's frustrating not being. This is where it's nice to have somebody to on the webinar with you, and it's not. It's just me. So what I've done is I've put together a program called Amazon Bestseller Launch, and it covers this, and it obviously covers loads more. And I'll talk you through that in a second. So I'll just take you through what that is. It's a very much a step-by-step how to do a book launch. But it includes all of the setup. So all of those 3 secrets that I talked about, it's all covered inside the course. So how does it work? Well, there are 5 modules in a private members area. Everything you need to run a highly successful Amazon bestseller launch every time. Now, I should say at this point that a launch doesn't just have to be for a new book. If you've got an existing book and it's not done what you wanted it to do, you can run a launch for it. It doesn't matter if it's been out for a year or 2 years or 5 years. Equally, if you've got a book which is doing okay, but it needs a boost, you can run a launch for it. It's not something, in the traditional publishing world, obviously we associate book launches with a book coming out for the first time, but we have the luxury as self-published authors of being able to basically run a book launch whenever we want to. So the way it's set up is everything in there is nice and easy to find, nice and easy to consume, easy to refer back to. So you don't have to remember everything, you just basically take it one chunk at a time. And it's all designed to be very simple, very step by step. So literally just do one chunk at a time. Do that, you can sort of kind of forget about it then and move on to the next one. So you're only ever worrying about one thing at a time. And this is what I've set up, what I call the Temple 5 framework. I thought I liked the idea of organizing it to look like a sort of Greco-Roman temple. So we've got the foundation, which is module 1, which is a great book. Now, what I'm talking about here is, this isn't a creative writing course, just because, but what I'm talking about is when you've written your book, presenting it in a way that is good, is professional, gives confidence to your prospective reader. You know, one of the things as self-published authors, we can set our books up to look just as good, just as professional as anything from a traditional publishing house, whether it's the Kindle version, whether it's the print version. And so I take you through in module 1 how to get your book looking great, how to get it set up the right way, how to get it formatted the right way, what the front matter should be, what the back matter should be, and what's some suggested orders. It's not set in stone, but all of those things which give people confidence. Nobody should ever go to your books page and think, oh, this looks self-published, because it should be indistinguishable from something from HarperCollins or Penguin, apart from obviously the logo. But nobody looks at, when people buy books, no one, almost no one, ever looks to see who the publishing house is. And there are hundreds and hundreds of publishing houses anyway. So that's, oops, back up. So that's module 1. Module 2 is building a bestseller. Now this includes the stuff that I've covered on today's presentation, but obviously a lot of areas that I wasn't able to cover. And this is all about getting the essential elements of your book. So it's not marketing the book, but it's getting the title, the keywords, the subtitle, the cover, getting the description right. All of these things, that linear process I was talking about a couple of minutes ago, getting all of those things dialed in, getting the first reviews in, getting your editorial reviews, because you have control. You don't have control over customer reviews, but you have complete control over the editorial reviews, which are the reviews which, if you're in a bookstore, would be on the back cover of the book. Now on your book's Amazon page, they can be in the book as well, but they would show up on the Amazon book page so people can read them. You have control over those. So all of those different things. And again, if you think about it as a linear process, they've got to find your book, it's got to attract the eye, they've got to click on it, they've got to go through, look at the reviews, the description, etc., and then make a buying decision. So it's setting all of those things up. If you get those things right, anything and everything you then do afterwards to launch it, to market it, to do any kind of promotion, any kind of paid advertising is going to be exponentially more successful. And if you don't do those things, the problem is that you're going to be essentially throwing time and or money away when you're trying to promote your book. So that's building a bestseller. Module 3 is the pre-launch. Now, the good thing about doing a book launch on Amazon is that most 80%, maybe more, of what you do to launch a book is set up and done before you actually sort of hit the launch button, as it were. This is great news because it means you can take several weeks if you want to, or even several months potentially, to get everything dialed in just right. Now you can do it a lot faster than that, but if you're one of the things that works really well is if you're in the process of writing the book, well, you can start setting up the pre-launch whilst you're writing the book, so that you're not scrambling to do it all at the end. So I'll take you through all of the pre-launch stuff, getting all your marketing set up in advance, and basically that just makes your life much easier when it comes to actually launching the book, which obviously is module 4. So you've got most of it set up. Module 4 is when you actually sort of press the go button. Any paid advertising you have goes out, any social media that goes out. If you've got email lists, you're mailing out to your list. Hopefully, if you haven't got an email list, and there is time to build one up pre-launch, that's one of the things you can do in pre-launch. But the other thing you can do if you don't have an email list is reach out to other people in your space, in your niche or genre, and get them on board. And you can reciprocate for them further down the line once you started building up your own author platforms. There's lots of things you can do, even if you're starting from basically a base of 0. So number 4 is how you sort of juggle all those things. And to say, because you've done 80% of it before you even begin, the launch itself is actually relatively stress-free. And the nice thing is that you can then spend that time tracking your book and watching it climb up the bestseller charts and become a best-selling book. And then 5, so the roof of the temple, you've done all the hard work now. You've got a best-selling book. 5 is just really about how do you benefit from that? How do you make the most of it? Making sure you get those screenshots for marketing purposes, and how to leverage being a best-selling author to reach out to other people in your space, your niche, your genre, connect with other authors, connect with other experts in your space, to get media, all of the things that you can do with a best-selling book. So you can take advantage of that momentum immediately, while it's as soon as the book is an official bestseller. And of course, you're a best-selling author, which is something, you're a best-selling author for life. Nobody can ever take that away from you once you become a best-selling author. So in the members area, we've got checklists for you to take you through each of these things. Again, all very step by step, so that you don't miss anything, and get the timing right. Plus all sorts of different resources, including frameworks for your book layout, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. You've got different frameworks for each. I'll show you how to get your book into 10 Amazon categories. Again, normally when you launch a book, you only get to put your book into 2 categories. So you get 2 choices within the KDP dashboard. But after it's launched, you can get your book into 10 categories. And because of all the subcategories and so on, if you really niche down, you can potentially get your book into sort of 30, 40, even 50 categories in total. So I put together a checklist for that as well, and a pro form that you can just fill in and send to the KDP support team. Other things, we've got a list of recommended book promotion sites, whether it's we're promoting a free version of your book or a paid version of your book. Kindle sales rank charts, so you can look at it, look at other people's books in your space, look at the different categories when you're choosing categories, and get a sense of how competitive they are, how many books you need to sell in order to rank in those categories. Links to just generally useful sites for authors. There's lots of great sites out there doing all sorts of different things, from book creation to book marketing. Outsourcing recommendations, so things like cover design, book formatting is obviously crucial, editing, proofreading. These are the critical things which probably, well, you don't want to be doing your own editing and formatting and proofreading anyway, because we as the author, we don't spot our own mistakes because we know what we're supposed to be saying. So where do you go to find inexpensive but high quality editors, proofreaders, and so on. Amazon HTML cheat sheet. So this is how to format your description using Amazon HTML without actually having to know any code whatsoever. And then just generally stuff that either I've forgotten or haven't thought of yet, or more likely, new resources are coming online all the time. So as new stuff comes out, it can be added into the members area for you. Okay, the other big thing is community and accountability. So it's I think this is true not just for writing books. This is true for most things in life. If you have a community around you and you have people that hold you accountable, it's much easier to get stuff done. So that's one of the things that this is about. So I do periodic live group coaching sessions. Those are free. So just jump on board. Whenever I do one, I send an email out with a link ahead of time, and it's recorded, so you can grab the recording if you can't be live. We've got a Facebook group, a private Facebook group. You can go in there and find accountability partners. Something else you can do is leverage Amazon's Kindle pre-order feature. So they allow you to put your book on pre-order now for up to 12 months, which is fantastic. So you can start making sales before you technically, it's this kind of weird, you could actually technically become a best-selling author before your book is even published, which is a little bit weird, but you can now do that with that pre-order feature. So this is life-changing stuff. Imagine generating or creating over, not happen overnight, but creating a long-term, reliable, passive income. Great thing about books is, as soon as you get that first one out there, however small those royalty checks are, you're getting that passive income, comes into your account every month, direct from Amazon, and you can just build on that over time, whether that be through marketing your existing book or books or adding new books to your portfolio. More free time than you've ever had in your life, potentially. Now, I'm not saying quit the day job, but the potential is there for you to build this up, and there are lots of examples of people who've done exactly that. Freedom over when and where you work, if you get to that sort of full-time author or part-time author stage, if you don't want to do it full-time. Getting to do something that you love, and as I say, getting to help others and make a difference. This is the same slide that I showed you at the beginning for myself. This is what this has given to me. So no reason why it can't happen for you as well. So is this for you? So these are tried and tested strategies, and they've worked repeatedly for literally hundreds of different authors, both in fiction and non-fiction. So I'll show you some success stories in a second from both. And the opportunities are huge. If you go back to that slide at the beginning, just Kindle books, that doesn't even count print books and audio books. Amazon is selling more than 1,000 Kindle books every single minute, and Amazon is just one platform. Now, Amazon it's the £800 gorilla. Most self-published authors are selling 75–80% of their books through Amazon, but it still leaves the other platforms. 20–25% on top of that is not insignificant, plus print, plus audio. So huge opportunities. And that's before we get into things like, speaking and selling books from stage and all that kind of stuff. So what sort of results are people actually getting? Well, I'll give you just a handful of examples here. This is from Jamie Cohen, author of Live From Your Class. He's a TEDx speaker and winner of the TED HuffPost International Teaching Award. Jamie writes, John is a masterful communicator and teacher who walks his talk and who radiates integrity. I'm now positioned to share my message with thousands of high school teachers. And you can see Jamie's book there at #1 in classroom management and education theory. So, and obviously Jamie was able to reach a lot of people with that book. And again, this is what I'm talking about in terms of helping others, helping Jamie become a #1 best-selling author, helping Jamie help teachers manage the class and so on. Boom, 400 CreateSpace titles sold in October. So CreateSpace is the physical imprint, or was, it's now changed, it's now merged with KDP, but it's the same thing. So boom, 400 CreateSpace titles sold in October and over 1,000 sold in November, which is fantastic, but it gets even better. This is a clip from the private Facebook group, all caps, as you can see. Oh my God, I cannot believe this. Have just cracked 4,000 paperbacks for December, and it's only the 22nd of December. I am stunned and fairly pleased. And this is from Letitia McQuaid, and Letitia's a fiction writer, or this particular book is. Thank you, John, for showing me the way and being ethical, high delivery, and not scammy like many of us out there. Without your course, I would have struggled to get up to a decent living in such a short time frame. Your work is changing lives, which is, you know, a really nice thing to, nice bit of feedback to get. So thank you for that, Letitia, and brilliantly successful as an author. 4,000 said. I wish I was making 4,000 sales a month of my paperbacks. That's fantastic. This is from Chuck Rockroad. Chuck writes, John's encyclopedic understanding of the publishing maze and his clear presentations were always top notch. Whenever I received material from him, I had no doubt it was the correct path to take. This saved me a ton of time and stress. Of course, results are what matter, and my book became an Amazon #1 bestseller within 48 hours of launch. And then you can see, again, another #1 bestselling author. And then finally, I've got this from James Muir, who's the author of The Perfect Close. He's done a follow-up now, which is The Perfect Close Workbook. And so it's crazy driving here outside. So The Perfect Close is a book about sales. And this, again, it's a Facebook screenshot from James. Amazed and honored to have The Perfect Close listed by Book Authority as the 21st best sales book of all time. All of these books are excellent, and I'm honored to be included with such amazing thought leaders. Now, I wrote underneath, as you can see, and said, fantastic, James, well done. Indeed, you earned it. James wrote back and said, or replied to my comment, said, thank you, John Ty. Your program was instrumental in my book's success. We've sold about 14,000 copies so far. If you ever need an endorsement or recommendation, it's yours. Send anyone you want my way. Thank you so much for your excellent guidance and coaching, #gratitude. So I private messaged James back and said, do you mind if I just take a screenshot and use that? So hence, this is what you're looking at now. It's just a screenshot of that conversation we had on Facebook. And actually, I was in touch with James about a month ago. He's up to over 17,000 copies sold now. And that's just the original book. That doesn't include the workbook, which retails at a much higher price, because obviously it's for salespeople and executives to work through the process. So you know, don't forget the spin-offs that you can get as well. So those are some examples of success stories, all #1 best-selling authors. On top of the Amazon bestseller launch course, you get 5 amazing bonuses, and I'm literally giving away the farm. So this is all of my top training, everything that I think is going to be useful to you, basically. So they're designed to help you get the most out of your publishing journey. And bonus #1 is my flagship Crush It with Kindle course. And it's a 7-module A to Z of Kindle publishing. So while Amazon bestseller launch focuses, as the name says, on the launch part of the process, Crush It with Kindle covers the whole thing from, you know, how do you research your niche or genre if you're not sure what to write? How do you write your book quickly and efficiently? How do you format the book? How do you get it actually published? You know, the mechanics of publishing it on Amazon, all the way through to the launch and the marketing and post-launch of your book. So it's the whole process, whereas Amazon bestseller launch is focusing in real detail on the launch and the pre-launch phase to make sure that your book is a best-selling book. Bonus #2 is my book in a day course. This is how to create books based on expert interviews in as little as a day. So let me address, excuse me, the elephant in the room here, which is how can you do a book in a day? Well, the idea is that really it's a concept. And now I have done this, I've tested this and done a book in a day based on a single expert interview. And obviously because it's an expert interview, you've got great content, expert content. But it's really just kind of a mindset shift apart from anything else. You can create books based on multiple interviews and either have each interview could be a separate chapter, or you can weave them together and base it around, you know, each interview you ask the same series of questions and each question becomes a chapter. So you're weaving in different answers from different experts within each chapter, which obviously more time consuming. You're not going to get that done in a day, but the idea, the concept is you can get expert content and different perspectives very, very quickly. It's also brilliant networking. Fantastic. This actually evolved out of my podcast. Again, this is not something I never set out to do a book in a day course, but I'd done the podcast, I got all these expert interviews. I thought, well, okay, maybe I could, it was an idea of trying to market podcast, but what I ended up creating was this book in a day course, and it takes you through exactly how to do that, how to approach people, what emails to send them, and all that sort of stuff. So great for any kind of interview-based book where you want to bring in experts, but also if you're setting up a podcast, it's actually a really good grounding for that, because it was born out of my podcast. Bonus number 3 is the self-publishing all access pass. Now, this summit actually dates back to 2015, but it's evergreen content. Top tip: if you're doing a summit like this, don't put the date on it. Didn't cross my mind at the time, but it looks like, okay, 2015, that's a little while ago, but actually we're talking about I think 22 expert interviews and over 20 hours of content. Really, really good stuff. And it's actually, although it says self-publishing, it actually touches on hybrid publishing and traditional publishing as well. So how do you get an agent if you want to go down the traditional road? What about hybrid publishing? Because there's pros and cons to each different version, and there's a it's not 1, 2, or 3. There's a sort of continuum as you go from pure self-publishing to pure traditional publishing, covering all of those. Some great interviews there. Bonus number 4 is, this is a really critical one if you're serious about becoming a successful author, is the author platform building bonus training. Now, we're very, very lucky. There's lots and lots of ways we can reach people, and obviously it's about particularly through social. Yes, you want to be building an email list, but you're likely going to get a lot of those people who will come to you initially through social. You want to try and then get them onto your list. On top of that, where do people hang out? Where does your target market hang out? And which platforms do you like to use? So there's 9 different ways of building your author platform in this really, it's a short, sharp training, 9 different ways. I'm not suggesting you do all 9. In fact, I would strongly recommend you don't do all 9. What I suggest, the idea is to give you an overview of each one, so that you can pick 1 or 2 or 3 maximum that you like. I would say pick 1 or 2 to start with and get good at those. You can always add others later. But what it is, it's hopefully an eye-opener for you to see, wow, there's so much that we can do here to build our author platform. Because once you've got that author platform, every time you promote a book or you release a new book, you can, these are your biggest fans. You can send stuff out to the author platform. And, I've seen lots of people do this where they become a best-selling author just without having to spend any money on advertising, because they've spent time and effort building an author platform with thousands of people. A significant percentage of them will go out and buy the book, especially if you offer it at an introductory discount rate for your author platform, which, there's pros and cons to doing that, but that's a great way of getting a lot of sales quickly. You might lose some royalties on the front end, but your book will climb up the charts and get a ton of organic sales, which you wouldn't have had otherwise. So actually you start making it back straight away through organic sales. So that's bonus number 4. And then bonus number 5 is the private Facebook group. You've seen a couple of screenshots from that already, from those success stories. So this is only for course members. Great thing about this is you can ask me questions in there, and you can get ask questions, get feedback, whether it's covers or titles or keywords or whatever it might be, from other people in the group who have all gone through the same training as you, but are also going through the same sorts of experiences of writing and publishing their books. So everybody learning from everybody else. And it's a great way, if you've got questions for me, obviously every time you put something in there, I'll see that little red notification and be able to jump in. So, excuse me, 5 amazing bonuses, over 30 hours just of bonus content on top of the course. The idea is to maximize your front end. Now, front end is the actual book sales themselves, the royalties that you get, and the reach, building up your readership. And then the back end is building that author platform I was just talking about, expert positioning. So, if you're in the fiction space, you still want to position yourself as a great fiction writer within your genre. But if you're a how-to or a business author, or you're building a back-end business, you're speaking, anything like that, coaching, anything like that, expert positioning is absolutely key and will bring clients in and also allow you to raise your prices as well. Also great for lead generation, both for business, and it sort of doubles author platform building for your books and lead generation. They're kind of a lot of overlap there. And then if it's your thing, building that back-end business, and I showed you that example of Erland's back-end business. So just to recap, you've got the Amazon bestseller launch there. This is a screenshot from the sales page of the website. But bonuses, you've got Crush It with Kindle, you've got author platform building, you've got the Book in the Day course, and self-publishing summit or access pass, plus the private Facebook group. So you are going to get Amazon bestseller launch, which retails every day for $997. That's the sort of key thing. But then you've got the 5 bonuses. Crush It with Kindle also retails for $9.97. The Book in a Day course retails for $197. The Self-Publishing Summit or Access Pass retails for $297. The Author Platform Building Bonus Training retails for $197. The private Facebook group, priceless. You know, just a great resource for asking questions. Plus, you get lifetime updates for all of these. So not just Amazon Bestseller Launch, but any of the other stuff, anything that gets added to that or changed or updated, you automatically get access to that through the private membership site. I put a price on that of $1,000. Over the long term, it's probably worth more than that, but it gives you a number. So total value there, $3,685. So let me ask you a question. If all this did was make you a best-selling author, would it be worth it at that price? If all this did was, generate a reliable lifetime monthly passive income, would it be worth it? And then finally, if all this did was help you get your books into the hands of thousands of people and get your writing and your message out to the world, would it be worth it? So your investment today, total value, $3,685, as we've seen. The normal price, this is just for Amazon Bestseller Launch without any of the bonuses. As I said, it's $997. You can get instant access today for a single investment of $397. So essentially, on the package as a whole, you're saving $3,288 on the value of the whole package with the bonuses, or 3 small investments of $147. Basically, that's the price of a coffee for a daily coffee for about 3 months, and you've covered the cost of it. You have all the resources, the course, all the bonuses, lifetime access. Obviously, it comes with a 100% money back guarantee. 30-day guarantee. If you change your mind for any reason, just email me, john@crushitwithkindle.com. As soon as I get that email, as soon as I see it, I will action the refund, no questions asked. If you want to give feedback and say why, great, but if no requirement to do so. So essentially, all the risk is on me. You can get the course now, go through the course, go through all the bonuses. If you don't think you've got tremendous value from it, you've got the option of the money back guarantee. So this is where you go to join the course today, bit.ly.com/bestseller launch. Now, if I can, again, I don't know if you were here at the beginning, but this is the first time I've done a presentation like this on StreamYard, sort of live streaming. So it's a bit of I'm going to try and post a comment for you. I'm trying to post a link there in chat. So hopefully, yeah, that seems to have gone through. I'm not sure if it's hyperlinked. Let me bear with me just for a second. Okay. All the www stuff at the beginning. Okay, so back in the room. Lost my cursor this time. Okay, so again, recap. Amazon Bestseller Launch, Crush It with Kindle, Book in a Day course, Author Platform Building Bonus Training, the Self-Publishing Summit, plus the Facebook membership, plus lifetime updates to all 5 of those, apart from the Summit, obviously, which is kind of set in time. So the time is now. Let's get straight into this and start selling your books. Let's make you a best-selling author. One of my favorite business quotes is money loves speed. So I've sort of kind of paraphrased that, and hence this bullet, results love speed, because basically it's the same thing. All of the successful, all of the successful people that I see in business, entrepreneurship, in publishing, they're people that take action. Almost no one gets things perfect first time out of the gate, but by taking action, you get results and you can iterate and make incremental improvements. So, and the great thing about self-publishing is that you can change everything. You can change the title. As you know, we saw Emmanuel Helderman, Julius doing that back in the 30s, but we can do it even easier now because we can just do it on our KDP dashboard and it's done within seconds. Covers can be changed, titles can be changed, keywords can be changed. You can change your marketing. Everything can be changed. So that is a huge advantage that we have. And it also is a huge advantage over traditional publishing, because it means we can test things in a way that a traditionally published author simply can't, because they've got to wait for the next print run, and the flexibility just and the mindset for that just isn't there. So my promise to you, if you come on board, is obviously the exclusive training to get you from idea to bestseller, accountability, community, and support. So not just from me, but from the other people in the group as well, to make your success a reality, so that you become a best-selling author. So to join me and get instant access, go to bit.ly.com/bestsellerlaunch. There should be a link in the chat now. Register and secure your spot. I will follow up with you personally, so I will keep an eye out for your email notification coming in. I'll reach out to you, make sure you've got everything you need, you've got your login details and everything, answer any questions you have. Let's do this, let's get started. So when you click that link, you will go to a page that looks like this, and you've got the choice there on, you can look on the right, you can either go for the 3 monthly payments of $147, or you get a discount and just pay a single pay of $397. Click the add to cart button, register on the next page. Once you've successfully registered, you'll see a page that looks like this, which is excuse me, the thank you page, just A, confirming that you're in. B, it's got that blue Your Library button. Just click on that button, you get instant access to the course, plus all the bonus courses as well. And so every time you go into, Kajabi is the name of the platform that the membership site's hosted in, but when you go to the website, go to the membership site, just, yeah, your stuff should show up, but or just click on the blue Your Library button. You'll also get a separate email with all your login details as well. And as I say, I will be in touch just to confirm you have everything you need. So to get instant access to the Amazon bestseller launch, oops, back we go, and all the bonus courses, this is your chance to become a best-selling author. You can keep struggling on your own, or work with me, but also work with a rapidly growing community of supportive and like-minded authors who are going through the same experience as you are, and turn that dream of you having a book into a reality. So again, imagine your success, imagine what it's going to feel like to have your best-selling book in your hands, because I've talked about Kindle books, but once your Kindle book is done, you've done at least 95% of what you need to do a physical book. All you need to do is pay somebody on Fiverr or Upwork to do a few tweaks to the formatting, and you've got a print-ready manuscript. Your front cover stays the same. You just get your designer to create a spine and a back cover, upload that. It's in the same place. It's all in your KDP dashboard. So just, you don't really have to do anything. The designer does a little bit of work. Your formatter does a little bit of work. Now you've got a print copy. So now you can actually have a physical copy of your book in your hands, but also on sale on Amazon as well. So now you're giving people a choice of what to buy. Imagine how it's going to affect your life, your finances, your freedom in terms of becoming a best-selling author, developing a passive income stream, and obviously the prestige of being a best-selling author as well, which again is something that once you become a best-selling author, you're a best-selling author for life. So just to recap, you get Amazon Bestseller Launch, the Crush It with Kindle course, the Book in a Day course, the Self-Publishing Summit All Access Pass, the Author Platform Building bonus training, the private Facebook group, lifetime updates to everything in terms of the courses. Total value $3,685. Yours today, basically for the price of a daily coffee over the next 3 months. So join me and get instant access. Go to bit.ly.com/bestsellerlaunch, register and secure your spot. I'll follow up with you personally. Let's do this. So I think I'm just looking across at my second screen now. So that's it for the presentation. How are we doing for time? Okay, so we've been going for just on an hour. So that's okay. That's why I'm losing my voice. So if you've got any questions, type them into chat. Andre says, thank you, it really helped me. Can we download the recording to learn again? So yeah, the recording, obviously this is going live on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. So the recording should be on, depending on where you are. If you're on Facebook, just like the page and you'll be able to go back to the page and watch the video through the page. Just click on videos. And equal, obviously, if you're on YouTube, just if you hit the subscribe button, then you'll be able to go back anytime. I think there's a little bit of a gap between me hitting the end broadcast button and the video being available, but we're talking about a few minutes or maybe an hour or something like that. Okay, so subscribe to the YouTube channel and or like the Facebook page, ideally both, obviously. And then also you get notifications as well next time I do a presentation. Because normally this is, the plan is not to do a full-blown, this is a full-blown webinar with a presentation plus an offer plus Q&A at the end. Normally they'll be much shorter than that. Gabrielle says, really no launch, no emails. So yeah, that's the whole point. The whole point of this presentation is to try and demonstrate to you how, by getting the fundamentals right, the foundations right, you can get really good traction. Because if you think about it, how do people find books? Well, yes, you can do a launch and you can try and you can do paid ads, you can drive people directly to your Amazon page. But if you're not doing that, people find your book primarily through keyword search. Later on, after you've started making some sales, it'll start showing up on the also bought section of other similar books. But obviously, until people have started buying it in sufficient numbers, it won't show up there. But if the keyword targeting is right, it'll start showing up on the pages of the right books. If your book's a how-to self-help book, you don't really want to, there's no harm in it showing up on the page of a romance book, but that's not your target market. Get the keywords right, for example, get the title right, and things like that, and your book starts showing up in the right place gradually over time. So it becomes this, it's a bit like that old analogy of getting the flywheel going. It starts, actually, say it starts slow. You can actually start quite quickly with this with the right keywords. But it does build on itself, so that part of the analogy does work. Peter says, hello John, I would love to make an interview with you. We're opening the opportunity for people in Europe. Okay, so yes, Peter, hopefully I pronounced your name right. Let me, yeah, get in touch and we'll have a chat. Okay, so I think that is it for questions. So thank you for, I see a few people still on live. If you're watching this live, thank you for being here. If you're watching the recording, thank you for watching the recording. And you can still, I'm sure, type comments or questions in underneath if you're watching this after it's gone out live. So in the meantime, hopefully you find that useful. Hopefully those three big tips have kind of opened up your eyes to the potential there for selling lots and lots of books without having to spend a ton on marketing and advertising, without having to do a big launch. All of those things are great, but they should be on top of getting those foundations right, which is, you know, your keywords, your title, and your book cover. So thanks for being here. Hopefully you'll join the course, and I'll see you on the inside. I will look out for your email and be in touch directly if you join the Amazon bestseller launch course, and I will talk to you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.